This is a lesson on GarageBand basics. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the most essential functions of GarageBand. You're going to demonstrate the use of those functions and turn in either a screenshot of your signed objectives sheet or a video. So let's take a quick look. If we look in our GarageBand basics folder, we see we have our lesson, which you're watching, the template, which you're going to download to your files. We have our objectives, which is what you're being graded on. And then we have our assignment to submit. Now, you can submit a screenshot of your signed objectives paper if you're in class, or if you want to send a screen recording demonstrating you can do all the tasks, you can do that. There is a tutorial, a lesson on doing a screen recording in your Schoology, so you can watch that if you don't know how to screen record. And there's also a lesson on how to download a GarageBand template. I'll just do it quick here to show you, but that longer video will teach you all the steps. We're going to just save that to our files. We're not going to really worry about where we save it. We're just going to save it. And when I open my files, I go to Recents. Here's my zip file. Click on that. It makes the file. All right. So here is the template for your assignment. Right now it looks like this. All right. If we listen to it, you're going to notice it sounds kind of wacky. All right. So what I have here is a combination of two different types of tracks, a blue sound wave file and a green digital instrument track. Now, before I explain what those means, let's just take a basic look at what we have here. Today, we're focusing on a few different elements in GarageBand. The first thing we're going to look at is this little cursor. All right? What you're looking at here is a timeline of music. It goes from left to right, just like you're reading a book or doing karaoke, and wherever this cursor is playing the music below it, okay? So wherever the cursor is, it's playing the music below it. You can move the cursor around to stop and start wherever you want. However, oftentimes, you're going to want to start at the beginning of this first bar. And to do that, what you're going to do is you click on the rewind button. Boom. Now my cursor is back to the beginning of the bar. And to play, I press play. And my song is playing. All right. Now, this whole entire thing, this whole view here is called the timeline view. And you'll notice in your objectives, one of the objectives is to show that you know how to access the timeline view. You might say, well, what's so hard about that? It opened on timeline view. That's true, but you also need to demonstrate that you can go to what is called instrument view. So this corner is extremely important for us when we're using GarageBand, okay? If I click on, well, first let's just look at the square. If I click on the square, it opens up all of my instruments. Now, you'll notice with an instrument, you can actually play the instrument. You can change the sound, okay? And it doesn't just have keyboards. It also has drums, all right? Guitars, strings, all this stuff you can play, all right? That's our instrument view. Now, to go back to my song, I need to click on these bars. These bars right here, that is our timeline view. And as you can see, it brings me back here. Now you'll notice once I open an instrument, it creates an extra track. If you don't want to use that track, you need to know how to delete a track. And as you'll see, this is one of your other objectives. To delete a track, you simply click on it with your finger and choose that red delete option. Now, this is different than deleting the information, all right? In this assignment, if you go like this and just delete the information, that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to delete that entire track, okay? Now, all you have to do for this assignment is demonstrate that you can toggle between these two views, all right? And that you can use the rewind controls up here and play. And the last thing that I ask you to do is to delete this track, all right? Now, to delete this track, you just simply click on it and delete it. But I wanted to demonstrate this because oftentimes students will have a song and they go into an instrument and they record and it just doesn't sound that good, or it's not exactly what they want to have. So listen, I did not do a great job of recording this instrument track. Now, in the future, we're going to learn how to go in and we can actually edit this information, move it around, etc. But that's a whole nother lesson in and of itself. For right now, I just want you to know how to delete a track if you don't like the way that it sounds. All right, so you just go in here and you press delete. Now, before I delete this, I want to just say one thing. When you use an instrument, okay, when you use an instrument, it's going to make a green track because it's digital information that you can manipulate. However, when you use loops, which we'll learn about in our next lesson, these are samples that are already played and recorded, and those turn out as blue tracks. So that's why we have that difference. So the last thing you need to do is delete that green track. Show that you can rewind and play. If you're doing a screen recording, toggle between the instrument view and the timeline view by using these buttons in the corner. All right? Or if you're using the paper objectives sheet, just show the teacher, they'll sign off, and you'll submit a screenshot of that sheet. Thanks a lot.